Best pod of your day, episode number 11. Back with you, J.W. Cox, alongside head coach Todd Stepsis. As we'll talk Panther football, we'll have a special guest. Jaxon Dailey is going to join us today on the pod, so we'll get to pick his brain a little bit going into what will be his first start as the Panthers go back on the road to take on Illinois State this coming week. Every week, J.W. Cox, joined by head coach Todd Stepsis. Coach, let's talk about it with Jaxon coming in. So it's a quarterback change. It's the middle of the season. There's a lot that goes with that, even outside of the X's and O's. He's left-handed, right? It even comes down to that, right? That changes some of the things that happens on that. But with the mentality of your team, how do you have to approach that, and how has that gone so far as you guys have made that change going into this week?
Well, first of all, it's never easy. When you think about Sheck and how well he did to the start of the season, and then we've kind of struggled on offense, and then we've had so many injuries, to the point where we still have some talented guys on offense, but man, they just 4 quarters, they're not the same in quarter 4 as they are in quarter 1. So we decided to make that change at halftime, and then I do want to give Sheck a shout out. That is not a fun position to be in. I've been in it before. Some of our coaches that were former quarterbacks, have been in it before. And so you can act and treat that one of two ways. You can be negative. You can pout. You can sit in the corner. You can, stay to yourself, or you can do what Sheck did. And he became Jackson's biggest fan. Helped warm him up. Sat with him on the sidelines after drives. They talked to what they saw on the field, off the field, and just a unbelievable teammate. Which was again just a tribute to the direction that we're going as a program. Guys really caring about one another, rooting each other on, competing, but then wanting the best for the team. And Jaxon, he's got the skill set you need to run our offense. He does some things pretty well as far as on the run, off platform. He's a really good football mind, so he can see some things, whether it's in film study or whether it's on the field, different ways to throw a wrinkle here or there to maybe take advantage of a coverage. So, that's going to have a little bit of a different feel. But then I've said this in a couple of the press conferences that have asked about it. His biggest strength is how he can get the most out of other people. And I think that's what you hope all your leaders have, is that quality to be able to help others overachieve, help others go beyond what they think they can be. And you just see that. You see our team has always been like that to him. And part of it is how he carries himself. Part of it is how he truly does care for his teammates. Part of it is he is a Panther through and through. I can't wait to have him on the podcast. But at the end of the day, you just watch the tape and you see his energy out there. Man, it is infectious. We just at practice today, we talked about, the energy of the team, the effort that you play. You should never have to coach that ever. And he emulates exactly what we want our players to be every single day. He throws a first down, he converts a third down, whatever it is. He's treating it like it was a play to win a Super Bowl. He loves football, and then just everybody gravitates toward that. And I just one of my favorite plays of the year was a simple 3rd and 2 conversion this past week. We throw him in there. The other team knows that when he's in there, it's a design quarterback run. It's nothing fancy, and we run off tackle, and they run a pressure that was probably perfect for that play, for us, and so we get to the second level pretty quick. First contact's at about 5 yards, so he gets the first down, but then all of a sudden, there's 10 guys pushing him for another 10 yards. And so just like that's what he gives us. That's the spark that we're looking for right now. How do we take the guys that we have currently that are good players, but then, how can we elevate them to become great? That is another thing we mentioned, the difference between the good player and the great player is the great player doesn't get tired. And so, how do we take our players that we believe are great and keep them from getting tired? Well, when they're fighting for a guy that they really believe in, and not that they didn't believe in Sheck before, but when they don't want to let that guy down, you can find the extra gas in the tank. And so I'm excited. I'm excited for Jaxon and what he can do, and the spark that he's going to provide.
Pats on the back. I'm going to kind of kind of jump on you on this one. Usually I let you go there, and I know you liked what the special teams did. The block punts obviously speak for themselves with 2 of those in a game, but Noah Pettinger's game, and it caused me already to go and look back at some of where Noah's sitting right now and what we have down there as a punter in terms of best overall punter in Panther history. So you look at top 10 seasons when it comes to punt average. Only one guy has more than one in that top 10, right? You take the top 10 of the best punt average season. Noah Pettinger's in there 3 times already.
Wow.
And he's got a chance to get in there a 4th time, and nobody else is in there more than once. And so he's doing that. He's going to end up with, punt yardage and all of that. Like, he's a really I know when you're celebrating punts and there's 8 punts in a game, you know that offensively you're probably not where you wanted to be, right? But he's a weapon, and you do have to have that to play complementary football all throughout in a league like this.
I mean, think about if we can somehow, some way, get the offense going, so and it doesn't need to be a juggernaut. You take a short field that he can give us. I mean, I think 5 of his 8 were inside the 20,
yep.
and he had a couple that were inside the 10 and inside the 5, and so all of a sudden your chances of scoring go way up, when you don't have to drive the length of the field. And so, to your point, man, that to be able to flip the field, to be able to win the field position battle, I think hidden yardage-wise, I think we might have gained almost 170 yards more than they did in the kicking game. And so, when you have that kind of discrepancy plus the 2 block punts, man, all you need is a little bit, on offense to win a game like that. And just kind of too little too late. We score late. I know the second was against their backups, but still, we drop a pass in the end zone on a 4th and 4, that would have been a touchdown. On the 1st and 9, we drop one in the end zone, that would have been a touchdown. So it's like, man, all of a sudden we're kicking an onside kick to tie it, and I just think that using our special teams, man, the big plays that they create are going to create short fields, the ability to flip the field, how we've been covering kickoffs. I mean, all those kinds of things, defensively, we didn't have a great first half, but boy, that second half, no points, so, man, defense, keeping them down there, creating a short field, us figuring some things out on offense, man, we could really have a good team, here. So, it's day by day. It's not going to happen overnight. It hasn't happened yet, but boy, with each day that goes by, the more that we interact with our team and their attitudes and the energy that they bring, man, it just feels like we're really close. And then once finally that worm turns and things start heading in the right direction for us, I think we can we'll be a tough team for anybody to play.
Something else you've been talking about, and you touched on a little bit with Jaxon and the team's energy, the team's, whatever you want to call it, the juice to start a game, getting that where it needs to be. When you think back on the teams that you've been a part of that have had that, right, the best teams that you've been around that have always had that from start to finish, where does that come from? Where does that have to start and then trickle out to everybody else? Yeah,
contrary to what the popular opinion might be, a lot of people think it's a great pregame speech, and it ain't that. And in fact, I've been a part of really great teams that have a ton of steam, right at the opening kickoff that have been great teams. I've had other ones that, they're just methodical. They are just a machine. And so they are dialed in. There's not a whole lot of rah-rah, and they kick your ass. And so to me, it's not a rah-rah speech. It all is player-led. It's all leadership. And so, your leaders, their attitudes, how they attack the work week, what their demeanor is on a Saturday, that will then permeate through the rest of the team. And again, if it's the right kind of guy, you will always be ready to go when the opening kickoff gets hit. If there's inconsistencies there, that's where you're going to see the inconsistencies in the start of the game or in a first half or whatever, where, man, we just weren't ready to play. Well, okay, me as a head coach, okay, what did we do? Are we tired? Travel, what could we have tweaked to help us out? But then, everybody's got to take some accountability and look in the mirror and be like, you know what? Maybe I didn't set the example that I needed to set to make sure that we were ready to go, because it boggles my mind. And again, I'm older, so I understand this a little bit more. It just boggles my mind that anybody would waste any opportunity that they have because they are so few and far between. And then again, as an adult, once it's over, it's over. So like, yeah, when I look at and we start slow and we're flat, and I'm just kind of scratching my head, and I'm like, man, like, how do you let that opportunity pass you by? And there is definitely a thing, the pain of discipline versus the pain of regret. Which one hurts worse? And in the moment, the discipline, but then, man, in the long term, the regret will eat you alive and keep you up at night. And so, this week, we're talking about finishing. We have not finished. We haven't gone start to finish. We haven't finished a game yet. Complete game. And so, that's more about, hey, let's give it everything we got for 60 minutes, so we don't have a regret. And I think our team, we're getting there. The right people in place, the right voices to be heard. Again, staying focused during the week, consistency, details, all those things really matter. But at the end of the day, we are heading in the right direction. We just need a few more things to happen, and then it'll all come together.
It goes for everybody, too. Only a few opportunities to enjoy this Panther team left this year, right? Yeah. Everybody, when December comes around and January comes around, you'll be pining for football. So that's everybody out there, too. You got these opportunities. Come out to support the Panthers in 2 weeks' time against Murray State, one more against Youngstown. And, of course, you can tune in this week as well when the Panthers are at Illinois State. We'll talk to Jaxon Dailey coming up next. It's Best Pod of Your Day. Stick around. Back with you, Best Pod of Your Day, Episode 11. Panthers players and coaches try to be the best part of each other's day, so we bring you the best podcast content for Panther football all season long. Happy to be joined by quarterback Jaxon Dailey. Jaxon, thanks for taking the time. And this has always been a topic that we've discussed when we've had one of you, and I'll explain that in just a second, on the show, a coach's son. Another coach's son out here with us now. But I want to go, your dad was a linebacker. And you started out very early on following in those footsteps, but changed quickly from what I like. So 5th grade, you were a linebacker, and then you changed to quarterback. What was that change like? Was your dad on board as the defensive guy? How did that go?
I actually kind of credit my mom with me becoming a quarterback because growing up, my dad always told me quarterbacks weren't real football players. So I played a lot of fullback. I played some O-line, played linebacker, and then I had good grades in school. And my mom told my dad that she thought I was smart enough to play quarterback, and he kind of disagreed at first, but then gave it a try and ended up working out. So
happy wife, happy life. Yeah, he knew that lesson already.
even though he wasn't respecting the position. All right, so then you go from that, and I know you and your dad spent a lot of time studying the game over all those years. Not what's your first football memory? When do you first remember sitting down and actually breaking down film with your dad? Was there a time when that just became what you guys did?
I wouldn't say we necessarily broke down opponents' film very often, but every Saturday, from 11 o'clock in the morning until 11 o'clock at night, we would sit on the couch and watch college football. And he'd tell me, this is what the defense is doing. And I'm like, all right, well, this is what the offense is about to do. And he's like, okay, well, when they do that, they're going to do this. And then we would sit there and borderline game plan each other for about 12 hours every Saturday. And my mom couldn't spend more than an hour out there with us before she got annoyed. So, there was a lot of learning and just kind of learning a lot of defensive football just because he was defensive coordinator for so long, and just kind of learning the game from his point of view helped a lot.
How special was that? As you go out there now, and now you're breaking down film as you are, you're in it every day, you're immersed in it at a very high level. How special is that, leaning back on what you guys did throughout all those days long before?
Yeah, no, it's awesome. It's really cool because, I remember the first time I was watching football. This was way young, and he taught me what coverages were and how to read coverages. And that when I was in 5th or 6th grade, you didn't even know that was a thing.
Right.
And just kind of those building blocks and building that foundation for me to continue to learn and try to grow in the position has been really cool.
Another one of those guys, Coach. A coach's son, like you said, it's not even always the film breakdown. It's the makeup too, but he's got every bit of it.
Yeah, I'm a little biased towards the coach's kid, but yeah, it's just the game of football itself is just such a great life lesson, everything about it, and so to have that in your family kind of infuse and kind of be the same thing, it gets the product is pretty special.
Jaxon, I'm going to give you a number and see if this triggers anything in your mind. I'm going to guess maybe you don't, maybe you do. 22-2. Do you know what that has to do with you?
That would be the record of my junior and senior season in high school.
That would be correct.
Yeah.
And one of those two was a state championship loss that you avenged. I didn't find what the other one was. I'm sure you probably remember. Maybe you don't, which is fine.
It was Ankeny again.
Oh, it was. Okay.
Yeah, they beat us my senior year.
Okay, all right. So 2 of them there, but at a very high level. You found ways to, with your team, be playing and winning at that high of a level. When you think back on those years at Southeast Polk, what was it about you and the offense, the defense that you guys played? What brought about that kind of success that you guys were able to enjoy?
I would say it definitely started with the foundation that our coaching staff put in place. When we were growing up, we were kind of around as ball boys and things like that, and we kind of heard the things that they were talking about. And me and my buddies, we kind of said, like, this is what we want it to look like if we want to be the team that wins the state championship, whatever. And we kind of put that in place. And there was a special group that senior class. There was a lot of really good guys and just great leaders and guys. I mean, we were just a group of guys all unified towards one goal, and that was to bring the first state championship to Southeast Polk. And we were top down. Everybody was unified, and we were all working in the same direction. And if you can figure that out, you're going to get a lot of things done.
That leads into a leadership question, something Coach has already talked about with you. He's talked about that even before what has gone on this season and this week occurred, going all the way back to the spring, talking about how you can help lead this team. Elevating people, one of the phrases he uses. Where did that come from for you? Where was your kind of leadership inspiration? Has that always been a part of what you've done as a quarterback? Where do you kind of self-examine and say, all right, that might be where I started to build what I am now? I
would honestly probably give credit to my high school head coach, because he kind of thrusted me into that role as a sophomore. I'm 15, 16 years old at the time, playing with 18-year-old grown men, and I'm supposed to be the voice of the offense as a quarterback, and just kind of demanding me to be vocal, and like it's not acceptable for you to not be vocal, and like would kind of get on me for things like that, and kind of forcing me into that role and not giving me another option. It kind of allowed me to grow into it and definitely kind of flourish in it later on.
Now, when you hear at this level your coach compliment you for that, what does that mean to you, and how does that help shape even more of what kind of leader you could be?
It means a lot. I think it's really nice to hear somebody say that about you, but I mean, at the end of the day, like, leadership only goes as far as the other people come with you. So, like, if I can say all the right things and somebody else can say all the right things, but if nobody's listening, it's not doing anything. So you have to have a group of people that are willing to buy in, and I mean, that goes to show the group that's around you more than it is about you as an individual.
All right. Now, away from the field a little bit, when we bring up Jaxon Dailey, people say, oh, yeah, the one with the mustache. It comes up a lot.
That's what my daughter calls it. Where's mustache at? Then I was like, it's Jaxon. Yeah, mustache.
All right. How long? Like, where was the thought process? Why does your mom like that? I mean, is she on board with it? What do we got?
My mom's not on board with it. My girlfriend doesn't love it either, to be honest. But funny enough, it actually started. I was watching Tombstone with a buddy of mine.
Great.
And we were sitting there, and obviously Doc Holliday's a great character. And he's like, you could probably grow that. And I was like, I probably could. So then I kind of tried it out, liked it, and kind of bring it back about once a year. I kind of let it roll and bring it back, and eventually I'll probably shave it, but it's going to come back again. And I don't know. It's just kind of a cycle.
Love it. Anything that gets us back to Tombstone, I mean, I'm in favor of. That's good stuff.
No doubt.
All right, what are you working on in school? Where are you at in that process? What are you headed towards?
Yeah, I graduated this past spring with my bachelor's degree in sports administration. So now I'm in my master's program for kinesiology for sports performance. And along with that, I'm also a graduate assistant in the weight room. So I get to kind of help with our red shirts, and then along with that, also the wrestling team. So I kind of get a lot of cool experiences, get to work with a lot of different athletes, and get to learn a lot just about how to become a better athlete and coach others to be better athletes as well.
All right, so you got intimate knowledge of 2 pretty high-level programs, with you being part of the football program, you seeing the wrestling team. Compare and contrast. What's that like? How are the wrestlers different and kind of built a little different in their own kind of positive way?
Yeah. I actually had some relationships with a lot of those guys beforehand. Caleb Runyon was my center in high school.
Okay.
And he wrestles on the wrestling team. So then I got to go know some of those guys. I think that there's a certain level of kind of wild wire to you with both sports. I think it kind of comes with the nature of the sport.
Yeah.
There's a lot of contact, a lot of physicality, and then when you're off the field, you're going to have a lot of fun. Really great guys to hang around with. But as far as a program standpoint, it's definitely a high work ethic. Watching those wrestlers work, holding each other accountable, reminds me a lot of what football is, and like how we hold each other accountable and how we want to continue to work on that and continue to get better on that and things like that. So.
All right, so let's be out of football season because, that's pretty much what you're doing when you're in football season. But where might we find Jaxon? What might we find you doing outside of season that isn't football related?
I golf a lot in the summer.
Okay.
I love riding bikes. There's all kinds of great bike trails around here. I kind of got that from my dad. But outside of that, watching a lot of football, playing a lot of football, hanging around in the dome. That's really about it.
What's your favorite spot around here to ride?
What's the name of the park right across the river? I'm drawing a blank.
Gateway?
No.
Not that part?
Where the rapids are?
Yeah, yes.
Oh,
right.
Yeah. What's the name of that?
I go right down by the rapids and then back into the woods. It's
George Wythe?
Yes, thank you. Goodness, I couldn't think of it.
It's all right.
Yeah, George Wythe. I've ridden back there a couple times, and it's been really cool. Like you kind of stumble across some things that you didn't know were back there. There's some hidden lakes, hidden ponds. It's beautiful.
Yeah.
Do you go by yourself?
Yeah.
Oh,
throw a speaker on.
I was about ready to say, man, I used to love riding bikes. I was like, oh, go on a bike ride with you. But man, if this is like a Serenity Now kind of moment where I want to zone out and be by myself, I get it. I get it too, because very few moments in my life were quiet ever. So I get it.
Probably room for both. He
Yeah.
can take you along, show you the way, and then it can be your Serenity Now moment too. All right, you've talked about how much this program means to you and in your time here, and it's, I don't know if unique's the right word, but it's always fun to see as a guy who didn't start here, right? Like you have experiences in other programs and now you're here and you love it so much and you're bleeding so much purple. What was the moment for you, or where does that stem from? Was there a pinpoint time you can say, yeah, that's when I knew that this was the right place, this was home, and it's even a higher level than that for you now?
Honestly, I wouldn't say that there's a pinpoint moment. I think it's just kind of the gradual relationships that you build over time. I wouldn't trade any of these guys for the world, and I love my teammates more than anything. And just kind of the time we get to spend together, and all the experiences and memories that we've created. I'd do anything for those guys, and that's what kind of motivates a lot of us and drives us to do what we do every day.
All right, lightning round time. Ready?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, so this is appropriate for the week that we are in, a couple of days away from Halloween. What was your favorite Halloween costume you ever dressed up in as a kid?
My family and I dressed up as a family a lot. One
I thought that was the costume. I got a family a lot many times. I got you.
One year we all dressed up as members from KISS.
Oh, great.
And it wasn't necessarily me dressing up, but seeing my mom and dad in like the full face paint and wigs. It was pretty funny, and it was a pretty good memory. So.
Love that.
What about as an adult? What's your best costume now? Because you see him as Batman.
Yeah, you were out there as Batman. Yep.
Yeah, that's probably either Batman or I've got the poncho. I can kind of throw some things on with the poncho and a cowboy hat. But Batman's probably my go-to.
Okay. Batman with a stash.
Yeah.
That's good. All right. What's your favorite animal?
I'm a big dog person.
Okay.
I had a great dog growing up. But as far as wild animal, I'd have to say panther, obviously.
Obviously. All right, there you go. Are you more likely to call somebody, text somebody, or text them to tell them you're about to call them?
I'm definitely a phone call person.
All right.
Yeah, I'm not great with texting back. I'm not great with Snapchat. I'm more of like, I need to talk to this person. I'm going to call them. I'm not a FaceTimer either. And that's
audio only.
That phone call. Yeah.
Okay. Which is unique.
No, it's super old school. I mean, thank goodness he's here, because I would say 95% of movie quotes that I'll say or music references, or thank goodness he knows what I'm talking about, because nobody else does.
Somebody in the room, because Jaxon is there. All right. If you could, all right, so let's go. We'll think back here. If you could spend a day with any person at all throughout history, your personal history, known history, whatever, who would that be?
I think an easy one that comes right to my mind would probably be my grandpa. He passed away this past November, and being able to spend one more day with him would be really cool. That was definitely the first one that popped up in my mind.
What did you guys do when you guys were spending time together? What was the most fun thing to do with Grandpa?
Yeah, he was a farmer, and there was a gas station probably a mile and a half down from his house, and when he lost his license, he couldn't drive anymore. I'd go down, pick him up, take him down to the gas station, and he'd show me and my sister around and reintroduce us to everybody that we've met before. Doing something like that, I'd say would probably be what I would do.
Good core memory right there. All right, are you protein bar, protein shake guy?
Protein shakes, yeah.
All right, what kind? Flavor. You don't have to go brand. You can.
Yeah, no, I like making homemade protein shakes.
Okay.
We've got a couple different flavors of whey protein at the house, so mixing that in with some different fruits, making some protein smoothies. If I had a good day, ate good during the day, maybe I'll throw some ice cream in there, kind of make it like a protein milkshake instead of a protein shake. But yeah. Good.
All right. What's a movie you could watch over and over again with never getting sick of it?
There's a lot of them.
Yeah.
Tombstone's up there, The Godfather, any of the Dollars trilogy with Clint Eastwood.
Oh.
Those are top-notch movies.
I did not expect to hear that at any point this season. I see what you're saying.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Pretty old school. I'm a big movie guy, big music guy. So
okay. What's your favorite movie?
Probably The Godfather.
And
okay. Yeah, that's probably up there. But any of those movies, if they come on, I'm sitting down and watching.
So then artist, so if you had to listen to one artist for the rest of your life, who would it be?
Jimmy Buffett.
Yeah.
Did you ever see him?
No. I wish I would have. I didn't really have the time to, but I was kind of planning on doing it after college, and then obviously didn't work out.
Yeah. All right, so here's a would you rather. Would you rather make a 5-minute presentation in front of a room full of adults, or would you rather do a 20-minute presentation to like an auditorium full of like 6th, 7th, 8th graders? Where would you be more comfortable?
I'd probably be more comfortable in front of the adults.
Okay.
I'd have a hard time with the chatter. Both of my parents are middle school administrators, and I've heard enough stories of trying to get anybody to try to pay attention during those. So, I'd definitely probably do better with adults.
There's more you have to put into it to keep their attention.
Yeah,
Yes,
for sure.
That's a good point. All right, anything on your game day uniform, what you wear, what you do that is a must-have, must-do, whether it's the look or some sort of tradition, superstition you've got?
One thing I started this year, I write GABBTM on my wrist tape, and again, back to my grandpa. Anytime I called him, asked him how he's doing, he'd tell me he's good as the best, better than most. Regardless of however sick he was, however bad his day was, he's always good as the best, better than most, and that puts him way above average. And that was kind of his thing. And so I keep that as a reminder, kind of something that I'll say to myself every now and then. Regardless of what's going on, you've got it better than a lot of people. And don't forget that. Don't lose sight of that.
And your grandpa's impacted people, right, through you still, because on this very show we asked Owen Ostrowski what was one of the best pieces of advice he'd ever heard, and that's what he went to when you shared that with the team. So that's your grandpa's legacy through you is you're doing a good job of keeping that alive. So that's good to see. All right, well, let's ask you then. Maybe it goes to grandpa as well. Maybe it's a different thing. What is the best piece of advice you think you've ever gotten?
There's a lot of one-liners between him and my dad that I've gotten, some of which I probably can't say, so I'm going to probably stick with that one. A football one that I really liked was when I would play youth league football, my dad would tell me to go hard till you smell crap or hear glass break. So I didn't really understand it at the time, but I think that meant play really hard. So I eventually
to and through the whistle.
Yeah, I eventually grew up to kind of get it, but I was like, okay, I think Dad wants me to play hard, so I'll play hard.
Good to read between the lines. All right, what's your dream car, truck, mode of transportation?
I'm not big into cars and trucks. No? I have a Chevy Blazer right now, and I love it. Whatever I've got, I love it. I like driving trucks around too, but whatever gets the job done, whatever gets me there.
Any bike aspirations? Like, is there a bike that you're going super fast now on the trail if you can get one particular bike?
Actually, yes. Okay. I don't have a particular bike, but my dad just got a new bike, and it's like world of difference. And I've ridden it a couple times, and I would probably look into buying a bike before I look into buying a car.
They're about the same price. Jeez.
Depending.
No kidding.
Like, whoa.
Yeah, some of these bikes.
But it does make a difference. You
Yes.
can tell. You've
Yeah,
been
it
riding
does.
just a Huffy or whatever he's
Yeah.
got. Yeah. All right, last one for you. Only one book for the rest of your life. What do you got? What do you read?
The Bible.
Okay.
It's a pretty easy answer.
Yeah.
Infinite knowledge, and what else would you rather read every day?
Yeah. Where are you going in the Bible? You got one that you're going to pull out and go to most?
The Gospels are great, but Proverbs and Psalms, there's a lot of wisdom, a lot of things that you can kind of learn and take and reread and take something new each time. So I would probably be behind the Gospels, my second pick.
All right, there we go. Jaxon, appreciate you coming on, making the time. Best of luck as we go through the stretch of this season with you at the helm.
Awesome. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Best pod of your day, that's Jaxon Dailey. If you missed any of our previous 10 episodes, catch it wherever you get your audio podcast via searching the Panther Point of View or on YouTube or unipanthers.com. Panthers this week on the road again. Back, though, a week from Saturday in the Dome, 1 o'clock. Want to see everybody there as the Panthers will take on Murray State. We'll talk to you again next week. Go Cats.